will be coming out my book called Raised in Both Worlds. Raised in Both Worlds. And this story I haven't heard on the internet that much about transparent people. You know, like the predator, and remember the alien kept disappearing, and you can see movements like mirrors sometimes. And that's what I call transparent people. And I was thinking about that not too long ago because I just ordered some cameras from Amazon. I think last month. And I noticed when I first buy cameras, the first image be a parallel universe or something. Because when I brought the camera from Amazon, uh, it pointed at my driveway and my front porch, right? And I put the camera in, and just as plain as day, this was daytime. I saw an invisible figure. You could only see the outline. The outline was like some kind of radiant blue. But just as plain as day, that figure walked to my mailbox, looked in it, closed it shut, and he come to walking up my driveway, the invisible figure, and then when he got close to the camera, it turned into what I think my dog, who died a long time ago, named Bullet. And Bullet looked like a cow. People used to take pictures of him all the time. You know, the animal hospital across the street from me in vet school, because Bullet looked just like a miniature cow. You know, he was white with the black and brown patches on him. You know, and big patches. And I could have sworn that was Bullet. You know what I mean? And it came to the porch, and then it went to the right. As soon as Bullet come, went to the right, my yard man come. And I met him at the door. I said, hey, bro, it's a dog. Jeff come in the yard right before you did and went to the bike. See, can you flush him out? And I stay right here to see if he come out. So the yard man come back and he said, no, Davey, no doggy. I said, you sure? I said, ain't no way for the dog to get out because the yard the fence. They no Davy, no doggy, Davy. Maybe he wanted your old doggy, Davy. I said, no, man, the dog went back there. I just looked at him on the camera, you know what I mean? And that got me to thinking. Because I saw that figure once before on a job, my last job. And I was looking at cameras when I came to work that Monday because I had to go over all the cameras to check for alerts and anything suspicious. So I got alerts at between 2 a.m. to 3. So I checked the alert, and just as plain as day, an invisible figure. And again, you can see the outlines in radiant blue. And that invisible figure, I know anywhere. It was Bob Kaiser. And he worked there with me back in the 80s. And I couldn't believe it. So I checked the other alert. It was Bob again. He come out the mechanic cage, and then he walked and go get on the irrigation cart because he was the irrigation man when I was out there, right? So I couldn't believe what I saw, and I looked at it 100 times, and it was what it was. An invisible figure with the outline, clearly a Bob Kaiser, right? So I called my boss. Hey, boss. He said, hey, buddy, we got any alert over the weekend? I said, yeah, boss. Come look at it. I ain't say nothing. He said, what kind of alert we getting at 2 a.m. in the morning and 3 a.m.? He said, when you got the other one? I said, the other one was at 5, right before Joe come to work, right? So my boss looked at it. I ain't say nothing. And just a plain day. So that Bob Kaiser. I said, you said, boss? He said, yeah, I see Bob Kaiser. I said, how the hell you know Bob? He said, because Bob was the irrigation man here in the 90s. I said, oh, he must have come back then. But Bob said, yeah, he came back and we had him as a irrigation man, the best guy you ever want to see. Say, but Bob died when he went to get some donuts from Dixie Cream. They say as soon as he stepped outside Dixie Cream with the donut, he had a heart attack right there. He never made it back to work. I said, oh man, they know you know Bob. He said, how you know him? I said, oh, Bob was my irrigation man in Indian Hills. Then I promoted him to our assistant. And then I promoted him, when I came here, when we left that job, we came here, and he was the irrigation man, but the boss man didn't like him because the man was a millionaire. And he say, Bob, come work for us because you can't control a millionaire. They do what they want to do. So that's basically why he let Bob go, which was stupid because Bob was the best irrigation man assistant I ever had. He said, oh, I ain't know that. He said, so you trained Bob? I say, well, he kind of trained himself, but when he hit a block, I was there, to help him get through it. But I remember then that when I saw God was transparent. He was outlined with a radiant blue. You can see the outline of his shoulders, his arm muscle, every detail. His chest, his stomach muscle. You can see every detail, but it was transparent with outline. And that what made me think about the transparent people are invisible. It's like we living side by side with these people. They ain't going nowhere because that was Bob. And I guarantee you, when Bob left that job, he go home every day, he doing the same routine. Unless Bob stuck and don't know he dead. But it definitely was Bob, and they living right among us. Because I'm telling you, I just got the camera last month from Amazon, like a baby camera. You know what I mean? A baby monitor. And I just put it in my window in the face outside, and I keep the monitor. I can take it with me anywhere I want to go in the house. But be careful, because we're not alone. And you can get that book at davidjstubb.com, Raised in Both Worlds. Thank you, and God bless.